Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first ever YouTube tutorial online. Today I wanted to show you guys how to do this effect, which is kind of a Splatoon paintball emitter that emits decals using the collision normal as well as the camera velocity. So you can like paint the walls like this and also like paint any kind of direction, even on a curved wall. And if I stop moving, it will emit in random directions like this. And if I go too far, it stops emitting. So you can plug that system with a kind of a paint gun, or also you could do like blood stuff when enemies die, stuff like that. So essentially what it is I'm getting the collision normal. So I'm gonna be shooting Raycast from the camera to the wall and getting the surface normal from that. And I'm also getting the camera velocity to be able to do the cyan arrow like this. This is the final goal. So if I get the collision normal, the camera velocity direction, I can get the cross product of those two and get the rotation axis and make this one rotate 90 degrees so it's flat with the wall. So I'm gonna be taking the red arrow, rotating it on this axis 90 degrees to match the direction of the camera. So let's begin. Alright, first step is to create a blueprint, obviously. So I'm gonna create a blueprint actor, call it bp underscore fx underscore whatever you want, spawn decals on surfaces. Oh, okay, call it 02. Alright, so you can come to the event graph and delete these two nodes. We're not going to need them. I only need the event tick. Cool. So first thing is to get the camera position. So for that you can just type in camera manager, get player camera manager. From this you can get world location. Amazing. And from that pin you can get also the rotation, world rotation, perfect. And from this you can get forward vector. So this is the direction the camera is looking into. So if I multiply this and convert this to a float, so if I put 1000 units here, so this position here is 1000 units in front of the camera. Actually, if I add this to this, it's 1000 units in front of the camera. So this is just the direction times 1000, and if you take this, add the position of the camera, this is the position 1000 units in front of the camera. So what I'm going to do is create two variables for this, one called camera position, and it will be a vector. Create another one called current position. You're gonna see why in a few minutes. So if I take my camera position, drag it here, press set, I'm gonna be setting this and the same one here, set like this. So I'm setting every frame a variable that is the camera position and another one that is the current position. I'm setting it like this because at the end of the entire branch I'm going to be setting the current position as the old position, and this will be useful because when I'm going to come back at the beginning, I'm going to be comparing the position at the previous frame and the current frame, and this will give me the velocity of the camera. It's going to be very clear in a few moments, but for now let's just do this. Next we're gonna line trace for object, line trace for object, not multi-line, we just want line trace. see there's multiline. Multiline will recast a line to an object, and it will not stop after the first impact. It will continue and add every type of object it touches for the whole duration of the recast. This is not what we want. We want a recast that stops as soon as it touches something. So the start point will be the camera position, so you can get camera position. You can take the current position, and this will be the end. So the recast starts at the camera position and ends in 1000 units in front of it. Object types, you can right click on it and promote to variables. Let's call it, well, actually, object types is pretty good. So if you look here in the details, it doesn't show anything. That's because I had to compile, and as soon as I do that, there's a value here that appears. So you can press the plus button and you can choose here what type of collision you're looking to filter. So mine would be world static, that's perfectly fine. World dynamic would be like physics objects. So if you have like cubes in your world that are moving around with physics, that would be a world dynamic. But for this tutorial, world static will do just fine. So perfect, and you don't need to touch anything else. So the next step will be to break hit result. If you drag out this pin, you can do that. And I'm gonna drag this one out and do a branch. You can plug this here. So what this will do is if it hits something, it will continue. If it doesn't, it will stop. So you can also expand this and see exactly a bunch of useful things on the collision itself. So you get the location of where it hit, the normal, which is the only tool we're gonna need for this. If true, we're gonna draw a debug box. The center will be the. Alright, I figured out why the box wasn't appearing. Is just because you need to put the blueprint somewhere in the world for it to take effect. So once that's done, you can see that it's spawning a cube on the collision. It's not oriented or anything, but like it's recasting on the walls and surfaces as long as it's 1000 units or less. So if it's more, then it doesn't spawn anymore. Cool. So now that we know that this works, we don't need the draw debug box anymore. What we're gonna do is spawn system at location. Spawn system at location. Cool. And the location obviously will be this, and the normal will appear later. I will do that a little bit later. And so what we're gonna do is create a small Niagara system. I like fountain. Call it NSFX arrow and decal 01. Cool. And so now you can place it inside this. So if I save and open the Niagara system, by default it's going to be a fountain. I'm going to do a quick few changes on it. If I put that to GPU fixed, minus 100 is fine because they're going to be very small. I'm going to delete the spawn rate and place a burst instead. I just want one particle. The lifetime can be direct to 4 seconds. I'm not gonna need the sphere, not gonna need any velocity, no gravity, no drag, no scale color, not even a solve velocity, no sprite renderer, just a mesh renderer. And I've done a small arrow in Houdini. As you can see here, you won't have that in your content browser, but you can put like any arrow that you can find. So I'm gonna put the arrow in here, and also I'm gonna place it in local space. So cool. If I press play, now, oh, last thing I'm gonna do is in the emitter state, I'm gonna place it into emitter mode and just emit once. So after 4 seconds, let's put 2 seconds just for debugging, my arrows will disappear like this. Cool. And if I just come back in the blueprint and put the normal get rotation or make rotation from X just for previewing, you can plug that into the rotation of the Niagara system, and okay, I think it's gonna be make rotation from Z. Yeah, it's gonna orient the Niagara system on the impact decal, impact normal, sorry. One last thing before moving on to the blueprint and do the fun stuff is I'm gonna rename the fountain to arrow mesh and place like a red material here so we can see it better. And in the initialized particle, let's put all the attributes for sprite to unset and the mesh scale to uniform 0.5. So this way it's a little bit easier to see.